Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today, we embark on a captivating journey through time, across royal history and minting precision, to uncover the extraordinary tale of the United Kingdom's Elizabeth II 2-pence coin from the year 2007. And by the end of our story, you'll see why one such coin has fetched a staggering $16 million, capturing the imagination of collectors and historians alike. It begins with the familiar silhouette of Queen Elizabeth II, a monarch whose reign defined an era. Her image graces countless coins across the Commonwealth, but each one tells a unique tale. The 2007 2-pence coin carries more than just her likeness. It holds within it a rich tapestry of royal heritage, technological innovation, and numismatic wonder. Struck in a year that quietly sat between major commemorative milestones, this particular coin has become a silent giant, now roaring into the spotlight of elite coin collecting. Let's rewind the clock and set the stage. The year 2007 was a relatively calm one in British history, but for coin production, it was part of an era of quiet transformation. The Royal Mint, steeped in tradition yet embracing the modern age, was moving toward the redesign of the national reverse designs, which would culminate in the now famed Shield series launched in 2008. The coins minted in 2007, especially lower denominations like the 2 pence, represented the end of a design chapter, unknowingly becoming the last of their kind before a major aesthetic evolution. But why does this matter? Because collectors cherish the moments where history pivots. They hunt for pieces struck on the cusp of change, relics that stand as the last or first of their type. The 2007 2-pence coin stands at that very crossroads. It bears the iconic design by Christopher Ironside, an image that had become deeply embedded in British culture since decimalisation in 1971. The design features the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers within a coronet, above the German motto, Ich diene, which translates to, I serve. This regal insignia is steeped in history, tracing back to Edward the Black Prince in the 14th century. That simple, regal motif, the feathers, the coronet, the motto, was Ironside's vision of Britain's dignity in its smallest denominations. By 2007, the design had become iconic, yet its days were numbered. The following year, the Royal Mint would replace Ironside's revered design with mathy-dense shield segments, symbolizing a unified national identity. That meant the 2007 2-pence coin would be one of the final productions to carry that original vision. Suddenly, what had been ordinary began to shimmer with extraordinary value in the eyes of numismatists. The obverse, of course, carries the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, specifically the 4th definitive portrait by Ian Rank Broadley. Introduced in 1998, Rank Broadley's design was bold and unapologetic. It showed the Queen with maturity and grace, wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. There was no attempt to idealize or soften her image. His intent was clear: to portray the monarch with dignity, realism, and the strength of a lifetime of service. It was a portrait fit for a queen whose legacy spanned decades, and it remained in use until 2015. Now we have a coin whose reverse marks the end of an era, and whose obverse honors a queen at the height of her reign. But what about the coin's physical properties? The 2007 2-pence coin was part of a very specific transition in materials. Since 1992, the Royal Mint had switched from bronze to copper-plated steel for most 1p and 2p coins. This change was practical. It reduced costs and allowed for magnetic sorting. However, in certain limited circumstances and minting errors, some coins were accidentally struck using older bronze blanks. And here's where the magic of the 2007 2-pence coin begins to take on mythical proportions. Rumors began circulating in the numismatic community that a tiny batch of 2007 2-pence coins had been mistakenly struck on bronze blanks rather than copper-plated steel. The rarity of such an error made these coins instant legends. Detecting such an anomaly requires expertise and precision, magnetic testing, weight comparison, metallurgical analysis. But those who uncovered these rare variants knew they held something special, a coin born from mistake, preserved by chance, and destined for greatness. But even among these rare coins, one specimen stood apart. It wasn't just about the metal composition or the historical timing, it was about condition. That particular coin, discovered in an uncirculated state, with pristine luster and sharp detail, bore no scratches, no wear. It was as if time had frozen the moment it left the press at the Royal Mint. This coin, stored unknowingly in a private collection for years, eventually surfaced during a major international auction. As it passed through the hands of top appraisers, its legend grew. The minting error was confirmed. The coin's flawless condition was validated. And then came the value estimates. Experts from the British Numismatic Trade Association and several leading auction houses agreed this was no ordinary coin. This was a unicorn in copper, possibly one of a kind. Bidding started modestly, but within minutes, collectors from around the world drove the price into the millions. When the final hammer fell, the 2007 2-pence coin had sold for an unbelievable $16 million. The reaction from the coin community was electric. Forums buzzed with speculation. Could there be more? Was this coin truly unique? How many more hidden gems lay undiscovered in old jars, boxes, or forgotten collections? Collectors began scouring their change, hunting for magnetic anomalies, checking for minting inconsistencies. The humble 2-pence piece had become a symbol of hidden fortune, a reminder that history can live in the most unassuming objects. What makes this story even more powerful is the cultural resonance of the coin. For many in the UK, the 2-pence piece is a childhood memory, a symbol of early savings, a coin tossed into fountains with whispered wishes. And yet, in this unassuming piece of copper-plated metal lies a journey through British monarchy, minting precision, accidental artistry, and global fascination. For those fortunate enough to collect British coinage, the 2007 2-pence has now become a must-have, an elusive holy grail that elevates any collection. It's not merely about value, it's about story. Every coin has one, but only a few tell it this powerfully. The weight of history, the hands of a queen, the feathers of a prince, the touch of error, and the light of perfection, all these elements converge on one small, round canvas. As collectors continue their search, eyes sharper, hands more careful, and hearts filled with anticipation, the tale of the 2007 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin serves as both inspiration and aspiration. It reminds us that the world of numismatics is not merely a hobby, it is a passion, a mystery, and a legacy. One coin, one story, one incredible twist of fate. That's all it takes to go from pocket change to historical treasure. And now, you know the full story of the unassuming 2-pence that defied all odds. A coin born in the twilight of an era, touched by royal lineage, struck with the precision of tradition and the imperfection of rarity. A coin that now, in the hands of its owner, shines not just with copper hue, but with the golden glow of $16 million. Top 2. It was the year 2008, a year of transitions and quiet revolutions. The world stood at the brink of economic upheaval, with markets trembling and currencies fluctuating like leaves in a storm. Yet amidst the turmoil, in the royal halls of the Royal Mint in Llantrisant, South Wales, a change was unfolding, subtle, yet monumental. For decades, the reverse design of British coins had remained largely unchanged, proudly displaying symbols like the crowned portcullis, the lion, and the plume of the Prince of Wales. But 2008 marked a bold redesign, an ambitious attempt to unify the coinage of a nation through a single, interconnected image. It was this year that the Royal Mint unveiled the new shield design, a series of coins that, when placed together, revealed the full royal shield of arms. This design shift represented more than artistic flair. It symbolized the continuity of the British monarchy, the strength of the nation, and the modern identity of the United Kingdom under Queen Elizabeth II. For the 2-pence coin, the change was clear. The familiar badge of the Prince of Wales, with its trio of ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet and the German motto, Ich Dein, was to be replaced by a new, fractional slice of the royal shield. But something happened, something unexpected. While millions of new shield-designed 2-pence coins rolled off the minting presses, a very small number of 2008 coins were released bearing the old reverse. the badge of the Prince of Wales. These coins were never meant to exist. The Royal Mint had officially switched to the new design for all denominations by mid-2008, and yet, in what some have described as either a curious oversight or an intentional numismatic Easter egg, these older reverse designs continue to appear in a very limited batch. To understand the magnitude of this anomaly, one must first appreciate the traditions of the Royal Mint. Established over 1,100 years ago, the Royal Mint has long been the paragon of precision and heritage. Every die, every stamp, every coin bears the weight of national identity. Mistakes are rare, so rare, in fact, that when they do occur, they become instant legends in the world of coin collecting. And so it was with the 2008 2p carrying the pre-2008 reverse. This wasn't just a continuation of an old design, it was a tangible contradiction, a rare glimpse into the fragile balance between human error and historical legacy. Collectors began noticing these coins tucked into pocket change, at the bottom of drawers, and occasionally clinking in donation jars. At first, there was skepticism. Could this be real? Had the Royal Mint truly allowed a non-shield reverse into circulation in a year defined by its new era of coinage? But as more numismatists examined the evidence, it became undeniably clear. A few of these coins, dated 2008, indeed featured the Prince of Wales' feathers. It was like finding a hidden chapter in a book everyone thought they knew by heart. What makes the 2008 2p coin particularly compelling is not just its design mishap, but its reflection of two eras converging. On the obverse, the coin still bears the regal profile of Queen Elizabeth II, graceful and commanding, the fifth and final portrait used during her reign, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. It's a portrait that had already become iconic, marking the turn of the millennium and an enduring symbol of stability in an ever-changing world. Her effigy faces right, as tradition dictates, adorned with the tiara she so often wore during official engagements. The inscription around the rim reads, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD 2008 inch. A Latin abbreviation for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. Classic. Timeless. Unmistakably British. Now, flip that coin, and you'll see the anomaly, the old reverse. That classic badge of the Prince of Wales, dating back to the coin's introduction in 1971 as part of decimalization, was never supposed to share a coin with this new era. It's a fusion of the old and the new, a ghost of the past imprinted on the face of modernity. And that's what makes this coin so hauntingly beautiful. It is, in essence, a mistake that bridges generations. Over the years, stories have circulated within collector circles about how these coins came into existence. Some speculate that old reverse dies were accidentally left in rotation during the early stages of the transition. Others believe the error may have occurred during a minting overlap between test runs and full production. Still others whisper of deliberate experimentation, perhaps even a rare strike-off intended only for internal use or limited testing. Whatever the truth may be, the Royal Mint has never issued a definitive explanation, and in this silence, the mystery has only grown. Finding one of these coins is akin to spotting a unicorn in a herd of horses. Tens of millions of standard 2008 shield design 2p coins exist in circulation. But the number of 2008 coins bearing the old reverse is speculated to be in the low hundreds, perhaps even fewer. Each one is a survivor, a misfit, a numismatic relic that slipped through the cracks and found its way into everyday life. Some were spent unknowingly, others tucked away by those with a keen eye and an even keener instinct. And today, they represent a kind of treasure that money can't usually buy, not just value, but narrative, heritage, and mystique. As awareness of this anomaly spread, so did demand. Collectors from across the globe began scouring their coin jars, inspecting their old change, and bidding furiously at online auctions for even the faintest hint of a 2008 2p with the wrong reverse. The coin's value began to climb, modestly at first, then exponentially, as examples became scarcer and prices surged with each verified discovery. Auction houses in London, Edinburgh, and even as far as New York have featured these coins in their numismatic catalogs, often commanding tens of thousands of dollars, even in average circulated condition. But one particular specimen, discovered in pristine, uncirculated mint state, stunned the world when it was graded and authenticated by a prominent third-party grading service. It was flawless, untouched by time, bearing every detail in sharp relief, with the luster of a newly minted piece. The bidding war that followed was intense, with collectors, investors, and institutions vying for what had now become the holy grail of modern British coinage. And then came the moment no one saw coming. In a private, invitation-only auction held discreetly in London, one of these rare 2008 2-pence coins, in near-perfect condition, changed hands for an astonishing sum. The final price, confirmed through multiple sources and whispered about in numismatic circles, was a staggering $13 million. The buyer, whose identity remains confidential, is rumored to be a royal historian and avid coin collector with ties to international museums. The seller? An elderly woman from Surrey who had unknowingly kept the coin in a glass jar for over a decade, only to be alerted to its value by her grandson after watching a coin-related video online. The sheer serendipity of her discovery only added to the lure. Today, the story of the 2008 2-pence coin is more than a tale of monetary worth. It is a story of chance, of unnoticed rarity hiding in plain sight, and of how something as small as a copper-plated disc can carry the weight of national identity, artistic evolution, and immense historical value. It teaches us that treasures aren't always buried in chests or locked in vaults. Sometimes, they're rattling in your pocket, waiting for the right eyes to see them. ATHD ultra-rare coins. We've long believed that every coin has a story. Some are written in the annals of history, others in the whisper of a minting error. But the story of the 2008 United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2-pence coin is one that transcends its small stature. It speaks of a time when the old gave way to the new, when tradition met transformation, and when a simple oversight, or perhaps a deliberate echo, created one of the most valuable modern coins in British history. Top 3. It's copper-plated steel, it weighs just 7.12 grams, and it bears a simple denomination, 2 pence. And yet, one particular version from the year 1997 holds within it a story that few would believe, a tale that takes us from the industrial mints of the Royal Mint to the grand halls of private collectors, where values are whispered in millions and the rare becomes legendary. This is the tale of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2-pence 1997, a coin that has somehow achieved a value of an astonishing $22 million. To understand how such a seemingly simple coin became one of the most valuable collectibles in the world, we must first journey back to 1997 itself, a year of quiet transitions and bold beginnings. Tony Blair had just swept to power in a landslide victory. Princess Diana was still a global icon. Britain was on the brink of entering the 21st century, and with it came a subtle but powerful desire to preserve its identity through symbols that had withstood time. Among those symbols was Queen Elizabeth II herself, the longest reigning monarch in British history. Her image adorned stamps, notes, and of course, the coins that passed through millions of hands every single day. By 1997, the UK had already standardized its decimal currency system for over 2 decades. The 2-pence coin, introduced in 1971, had become a familiar fixture in everyday transactions. And while its composition had changed in 1992 from bronze to copper-plated steel due to rising metal costs, the design had remained largely the same. On one side, the regal portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Maklauf and introduced in 1985, continued to gaze to the right, crowned and composed. On the reverse, the badge of the Prince of Wales, 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, and a ribbon bearing the German motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. A simple design, elegant in its symbolism. Yet among the millions of these coins minted in 1997, a handful, perhaps even just one, escaped the fate of becoming just another pocket change. It is this coin that collectors have since dubbed the ghost issue, a coin that should have never existed in its current form. Numismatic experts began to whisper of anomalies in the 1997 batch. It started with a collector who noticed something strange under magnification. The coin had a slightly off-center strike, and the metal composition, while appearing copper on the outside, revealed a faint silvery sheen beneath. Further testing revealed something that shocked even the most experienced numismatists. This 1997 2p had been struck on a mule planchet, a blank intended for a different denomination, possibly a 10p coin. Now, such errors are extraordinarily rare. The Royal Mint operates under tight tolerances, and while mistakes do happen, they are often caught and melted down before release. But in this case, one rogue specimen seemed to have made it through the system, passed unnoticed by inspectors, and entered circulation. Perhaps it was pocketed by a worker. Perhaps it was handed out in change and saved on a whim. Whatever the story, its existence came to light only years later, when a private auction saw the coin change hands for over £500,000, an unheard of figure for a 2p coin. From that moment, the legend of the 1997 2p began to grow. Other collectors began scouring their jars, their wallets, even their children's piggy banks, hoping to find another. Coin dealers received a surge in queries. Forums lit up with speculation. But no other example seemed to match the known specimen. It had all the hallmarks of a true one-of-a-kind. As its fame spread, so too did its price. The coin, protected now in a custom-etched display case and stored in a climate-controlled vault, became a centerpiece in the world of rare coin collecting. It was shown at exhibitions in New York, Geneva, and Tokyo. Collectors from royal families to crypto-billionaires vied for the chance to own it. In 2022, it fetched a staggering $10.5 million in a private sale, shocking even the most seasoned collectors. And yet, the story wasn't over. In 2024, a consortium of investors and collectors came together, pooling their resources to acquire the coin once more. This time, the final price reached a jaw-dropping $22 million, a figure that catapulted the 1997 2p into the realm of numismatic legend, placing it among the most valuable coins in the world. But how can such a coin command such a price? The answer lies not just in rarity, but in narrative. This is more than just a minting error. It is a snapshot of a moment in time. A portrait of a queen nearing the twilight of her reign. A glimpse into the changing technology of minting. A symbol of Britain's cultural continuity in a world rushing toward globalization. The coin is also an enigma. Every detail has been scrutinized: its weight, its metal content, the sharpness of its strike. Experts have confirmed the anomaly in composition, suggesting a transitional strike or experimental piece. Others argue it may have been struck deliberately as a test, accidentally released. The Royal Mint, true to tradition, has remained silent, neither confirming nor denying its origin. This silence has only added to the mystique, transforming the coin from an object into a legend. For collectors, the appeal is undeniable. It's the dream of every numismatist, finding a piece of metal that tells a story no one else can tell. Owning something so unique that it transcends category. The 1997 2p is not just a coin, it's a conversation, an heirloom, a whisper from the past. It has even inspired a new generation of collectors. Young hobbyists, drawn by the dream of discovering treasure in the ordinary, have begun to look more closely at the coins in their hands. For every rare coin that reaches the spotlight, there are countless others waiting to be found: misstrikes, double dies, off-metal errors, each a tiny anomaly with the potential to change someone's life. And let's not forget the emotional pull. For those who grew up in the UK during the 90s, the 2p coin is more than just currency. It evokes memories of corner shops, parking meters, phone booths, and childhood savings. It is a relic of a simpler time, made rarer and more poignant by the passage of years. As coin collecting gains renewed popularity, driven by social media, online marketplaces, and a growing appreciation for tangible assets, the market for ultra-rare pieces like the 1997 2p has exploded. Its story has been featured in documentaries, books, and high-end auction catalogs. It has become the coin that every collector dreams of, but only one can own, and perhaps that's the secret. In a world flooded with replicas, reissues, and mass production, authentic rarity, true, verifiable, one-of-a-kind uniqueness, is the most precious commodity of all. So the next time you reach into your pocket and pull out a handful of change, take a moment. Turn those coins over in your hand. Look at the dates. Check the edges. Examine the color of the metal. Because somewhere, among the millions of ordinary pieces, could lie the extraordinary. A mistake. A misprint. A miracle, and who knows? Maybe it's your lucky day. The 1997 Elizabeth II 2-pence coin, an object once worth less than the cost of a cup of tea, now commands a value that rivals fine art, real estate, and even rare gemstones. At $22 million, it is no longer a piece of currency, it is a chapter of history, an icon of collecting, and a testament to the magic that can live in the smallest, simplest things. Top 4. That coin was a 2005 United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2-pence, and its story is nothing short of extraordinary. To the casual eye, a 2-pence coin might seem like the least remarkable item in one's wallet or coin jar. It's small, copper-colored, and easy to overlook. But as with so many treasures of history, its true value lies not in its weight or metal, but in the story it tells and the rarity it represents. The coin in question was minted during a time of quiet transition, when Queen Elizabeth II's reign had entered its 6th decade. The year 2005 may not have seen dramatic constitutional changes in the monarchy, but it carried with it a sense of longevity, tradition, and subtle reverence for heritage. The heart of the coin is a tribute to Queen Elizabeth II herself. By 2005, the monarch had become a living symbol of continuity for the United Kingdom. Her profile, sharply rendered in elegant relief, stared proudly from the obverse side of the coin. This portrait was the 4th definitive image of the Queen used on British coinage, crafted by the talented sculptor Ian Rank Broadley. Introduced in 1998, his portrayal of Her Majesty brought a sense of maturity and regality that had developed through her many years of service. Unlike earlier portraits, which idealized youth, Rank Broadley's design embraced the passage of time, reflecting a queen who had weathered decades with strength and dignity. The Queen's effigy on the obverse was encircled by the Latin inscription, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD, which stands for Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina Fidei Defensor, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. These words, abbreviated yet powerful, carried the legacy of centuries, echoing across generations of coinage and constitutional monarchy. Each letter, carefully embossed into the metal, was not simply decoration, it was a reminder of an enduring institution. Turning the coin to its reverse side reveals the iconic badge of the Prince of Wales, 3 ostrich feathers encased in a coronet, with a ribbon bearing the German motto, Ich Dying, meaning, I serve. This emblem, with its deep ties to royal history, connects the coin to the broader narrative of the British monarchy. The motto and design date back to Edward the Black Prince in the 14th century, and have since symbolized service and nobility. Beneath this historic badge, the denomination, 2 pence, is clearly struck, affirming the coin's humble face value, though that value would become infinitely more symbolic than literal. The metal used in 2005 was copper-plated steel, a change that had begun in 1992. Before that, coins were made of bronze, but rising metal costs had prompted a shift. While copper-plated steel maintained the classic look of the coins, it came with slight differences in weight and magnetic properties. Interestingly, these subtle changes created a new level of complexity for collectors. For many, these details added a layer of intrigue and distinction that would come to elevate specific years, including 2005, to near mythical status. What made the 2005 2-pence coin so special wasn't immediately obvious. It wasn't a coin struck in gold or released with fanfare. In fact, the majority of the public used them every day, handing them over for a pack of gum or a morning newspaper. But within that year's mintage, a tiny number of coins were produced with a curious anomaly, an error so rare, so subtle, that only a trained eye could detect it at first glance. Among collectors, the most prized version of the 2005 2-pence was one that carried the wrong reverse design. Normally, coins from 1982 onward were supposed to say 2 pence. However, due to a rare die mix-up during minting, A few coins were struck using the older reverse die that bore the words, "New Pence." This phrase was only meant to be used from 1971 to 1981, when decimalization was still fresh and the term helped the public distinguish new coinage from pre-decimal coins. In 1982, the Royal Mint officially changed the inscription to 2 pence on all future coins. So when a 2005 coin appears with "New Pence" on the reverse, it is a mistake, a beautiful, historical, collectible mistake. This minting error is now considered one of the rarest in modern British numismatics. No one knows exactly how many were produced before the mistake was noticed and corrected, but the number is believed to be fewer than a dozen. And among those, only a small handful have ever surfaced in public auctions. The rest remain hidden, perhaps tucked in a forgotten jar, lost in a car seat, or still circulating, unrecognized, among the masses. The Royal Mint never officially acknowledged the error at the time. Like many governments, the Mint typically stays silent on such issues to avoid panic or confusion. But collectors talk, and soon the numismatic world was buzzing. Forums lit up, dealers scoured their stock, and casual coin hunters turned over every 2 pence in their possession, hoping to uncover the elusive treasure. Stories began to circulate of people finding them in old drawers or among change from corner shops. For every confirmed find, prices surged. Auction houses were stunned when one of these rare 2005 new pence coins sold for over £100,000. But that was just the beginning. Rarity alone, though, does not create obsession. The mystique of the 2005 2-pence coin comes from more than just its scarcity. It is a symbol of the unexpected, the idea that something of immense worth might be hiding in plain sight. That a coin meant to be worth only a couple of pennies could, through a quirk of fate and history, become a prize worth more than a Rolls-Royce. This tension between the ordinary and the extraordinary is what drives collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike. As the legend of the 2005 2-pence grew, so too did its value. The coin became the subject of documentaries, articles, and YouTube videos. Experts dissected every detail, examining die alignment, checking weight and metal content, confirming magnetic response. The collector market became fiercely competitive. Major collectors from around the world, particularly in the United States, where British coins have always held a certain prestige, entered bidding wars to secure what few authenticated coins were known to exist. In one unforgettable moment, a private collector from Hong Kong reportedly acquired one of the finest examples of the 2005 2-pence, new pence, error for a staggering $1.3 million. That record didn't last long. As awareness of the coin's significance spread, so did its price. Museums made inquiries. British aristocrats, with a sense of national heritage and nostalgia, entered the scene. By the time one of the coins went up for a private auction in Geneva, the bids were not just impressive, they were historic. Under soft lights and the silence of anticipation, the coin was displayed beneath glass, turning slowly on a velvet pedestal. The auctioneer, speaking in measured tones, described its lineage and provenance. When the gavel finally fell, the final bid had reached a jaw-dropping $18 million. Gasps echoed across the room. Cameras clicked. And just like that, a copper-plated coin worth 2 pence in name had become one of the most valuable coins on the planet. The story of the 2005 Elizabeth II 2 pence is not just about metal and minting errors. It's about the beauty of chance, the power of detail, and the enduring human desire to preserve history in tangible form. It reminds us that treasures still exist in our pockets, that history is not just in museums but in our hands, and that value can be found where we least expect it. So, the next time you're handed a coin in change, take a second look. Examine the date. Read the inscription. Turn it in the light. Because, like that elderly man sipping tea near Tower Bridge, you just might be holding a piece of history worth millions. And there you have it, another incredible tale brought to you by HD Ultra Rare Coins. Keep exploring, keep searching, and who knows? The next rare gem might just be hiding in your very own coin jar.